Admiral William Carter stood tall by the expansive window on the ESS Vengeance, his steely gray eyes fixed on the endless stars and the massive space station looming ahead. The station, called the Galactic Conqueror, resembled a giant, radiant wheel, its illuminated spokes stark against the void. Carter, now 57, bore the marks of his years, black hair streaked with silver and a face etched with the weight of countless, difficult decisions. He observed as a sleek shuttle approached the station, carrying Earth's finest diplomats. 2 decades had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council, a powerful assembly of 17 alien species governing known space. Humans, the newest members, had contributed greatly, fighting in council wars and sharing their innovations. Now they sought full membership, complete with voting rights. Ambassador Samantha Reed led the delegation aboard the shuttle. Her mission was to secure Earth a place on the High Council and access to the advanced technologies reserved for the oldest member species. "Any updates from the ambassador?" Carter asked, his voice steady. Officer Ryan Garcia shook his head. "No, sir. Nothing since they docked." Carter's jaw tightened. The negotiations had been progressing smoothly for weeks. Why had communication suddenly ceased? The bridge's large screen flared to life, revealing Lieutenant Olivia Martinez. Part of Reed's security team, her face was streaked with grime and blood. "Admiral, the Council has betrayed us!" she shouted over the chaotic sounds of combat behind her. "They've declared humans a threat to galactic peace. They're slaughtering the diplomatic team." Carter's chest tightened. "Explain, Lieutenant," he demanded, his tone clipped. "It was all a ruse, sir," Martinez replied, dodging an explosion. "They never intended to accept us as equals. They used us for their wars, for our ideas. Now they're eradicating us before we grow too powerful." She raised a small device. "I'm transmitting their secret files to you. They're attacking all human colonies and Earth simultaneously." A brilliant flash filled the screen before it went dark, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Carter gripped the railing so hard his knuckles turned white. "Sir," Garcia said hesitantly, "data transfer complete." "Put it on screen," Carter commanded. The alien text on the screen quickly shifted to English. A collective gasp filled the bridge as everyone read the horrifying details. The Council had voted 14-3 to exterminate all humans from the galaxy, branding them as a destabilizing force. The directive labeled it a preventive action and included attack coordinates for Earth and every human colony. "They're planning to kill billions, men, women, children, everyone," Dr. Laura Wells said, her voice trembling as she analyzed the data from her console. Carter's gaze locked on the tactical display. Tiny dots representing Council fleets moved steadily toward human territories. "How long do we have?" he asked, his tone sharp. Commander Stephen Hall, the tactical officer, responded immediately. "The closest fleet is 8 hours from Earth. Others will reach our colonies within 10 to 15 hours. Carter nodded, his expression hardening. He straightened and faced his crew. "Send emergency code Alpha to all Earth forces," he commanded. "All ships to battle stations. Contact planetary defense systems across every colony and get me a direct line to Earth Defense Command." The bridge sprang to life as officers rushed to execute his orders. Captain Natalie Reeves stepped onto the bridge, her face a mask of confusion and concern. "Admiral, what's going on?" she asked. "The Council has revealed its true intentions, Captain," Carter said grimly. "They've decided to annihilate humanity." Reeves's eyes widened in disbelief. "After 20 years of peace? Why?" Dr. Wells glanced up from the data files. "Fear. They've been studying us for years. These records show they believe we're advancing too fast. If they wait another decade, we might become strong enough to challenge them." "So they're preemptively striking," Carter said, his voice cold. "To eliminate a future threat." The main screen flickered, displaying General Alan Foster at Earth Defense Command. His face was pale and set in a grim expression. Bill, tell me these reports aren't true, Foster said, his voice strained. They're true, Alan, Carter replied. The Council has voted to wipe us out. Their fleets are already en route to our worlds. Foster closed his eyes briefly, then exhaled heavily. God help us. Half our colonies don't even have their planetary shields operational yet. Then we'll have to buy them time, Carter said firmly. How many ships can we gather? Foster's brow furrowed as he calculated. We can muster about 300 vessels, but they're scattered. It'll take time to form a unified fleet. Carter's eyes returned to the tactical display, an idea taking shape. The Council assumes we'll spread ourselves thin trying to defend every world. Foster nodded. That's standard defensive strategy. The alien text on the screen quickly shifted to English. A collective gasp filled the bridge as everyone read the horrifying details. The Council had voted 14-3 to exterminate all humans from the galaxy, branding them as a destabilizing force. The directive labeled it a preventive action and included attack coordinates for Earth and every human colony. They're planning to kill billions, men, women, children, everyone, Dr. Laura Wells said, her voice trembling as she analyzed the data from her console. Carter's gaze locked on the tactical display. Tiny dots representing Council fleets moved steadily toward human territories. How long do we have? He asked, his tone sharp. Commander Stephen Hall, the tactical officer, responded immediately. The closest fleet is 8 hours from Earth. Others will reach our colonies within 10 to 15 hours. Carter nodded, his expression hardening. He straightened and faced his crew. Send emergency code Alpha to all Earth forces, he commanded. All ships to battle stations. Contact planetary defense systems across every colony and get me a direct line to Earth Defense Command. The bridge sprang to life as officers rushed to execute his orders. Captain Natalie Reeves stepped onto the bridge, her face a mask of confusion and concern. Admiral, what's going on? She asked. The Council has revealed its true intentions, Captain, Carter said grimly. They've decided to annihilate humanity. Reeves's eyes widened in disbelief. After 20 years of peace? Why? Dr. Wells glanced up from the data files. Fear. They've been studying us for years. These records show they believe we're advancing too fast. If they wait another decade, we might become strong enough to challenge them. So they're preemptively striking, Carter said, his voice cold, to eliminate a future threat. The main screen flickered, displaying General Alan Foster at Earth Defense Command. His face was pale and set in a grim expression. Bill, tell me these reports aren't true, Foster said, his voice strained. They're true, Alan, Carter replied. The Council has voted to wipe us out. Their fleets are already en route to our worlds. Foster closed his eyes briefly, then exhaled heavily. God help us. Half our colonies don't even have their planetary shields operational yet. Then we'll have to buy them time, Carter said firmly. How many ships can we gather? Foster's brow furrowed as he calculated. We can muster about 300 vessels, but they're scattered. It'll take time to form a unified fleet. Carter's eyes returned to the tactical display, an idea taking shape. The Council assumes we'll spread ourselves thin, trying to defend every world. Foster nodded. That's standard defensive strategy. We're receiving surrender signals from the station, reported Ryan Garcia from his communication console. Ignore them, Carter said curtly. The only ones I want to hear from are the Council members themselves. Dr. Wells stood nearby, still engrossed in the Council's secret files. Suddenly, her expression shifted to alarm. Admiral, I found something critical, she said, stepping quickly to his side. What is it? Carter asked. The Council didn't just fear our adaptability, they envied it, Wells explained. Envied it? Carter echoed, his brow furrowing. Wells nodded. Several Council species have reached their evolutionary peak. They can no longer advance naturally. Humans, on the other hand, are still evolving. She gestured to a highlighted section of data. They've been secretly harvesting human DNA for years, trying to integrate our genetic traits into their own biology. Human experimentation, Carter said, his voice dropping to a chilling calm. Another atrocity to add to their list. The ship shuddered violently as a defensive blast struck their shields. Minor damage reported on decks 4 and 5. Commander Hall called from the tactical station. Shields holding at 80%. Carter's gaze shifted back to the tactical display. Captain Reeves, assemble your strike team and prepare for boarding. I want full control of the station's main systems. Yes, Admiral, Reeves said, saluting before leaving the bridge to rally the boarding crew. Carter turned his attention to the battle playing out on the display. Earth's ships targeted the station's defensive turrets and shield generators with precision. One by one, the station's defenses crumbled. Meanwhile, Captain Morgan's stealth vessels had attached, unnoticed to the station's underside, bypassing the main defenses entirely. Morgan's team has breached the lower levels, Hall reported. They're advancing toward the station's power core. Have them secure the core, but leave it operational for now, Carter instructed. Dr. Wells hesitated, then spoke. Admiral, these files reveal something else. 3 council species opposed the vote to destroy humanity. The Araxians, the Nomare, and the Castellons. Carter's expression remained steely. Too little, too late, he said flatly. They still allowed this to happen. The bridge doors slid open, and a young officer hurried in, his face tense with urgency. Admiral, we've decoded more of the Council's battle plans. The officer handed Carter a data pad. Reinforcements are coming from 6 different systems, sir. Carter reviewed the information quickly. Earliest arrivals are in 2 hours. We need control of the station before then. He looked up. Relay this to all ship commanders. Speed is essential. The Vengeance edged closer to the station, its massive hull casting a shadow over the battle-scarred structure. Outer sections bore heavy damage, with fires raging in several docking bays. Air and debris vented into the void, evidence of intense fighting. Sir, Commander Hall called out. Captain Morgan reports the power core is secure, and Captain Reeves's team has landed at Docking Bay 12. Tell Reeves to proceed to the council chambers, Carter ordered. I want every council member in custody. Admiral, we're receiving another hail, Garcia interjected. This one's from a different council member. The main screen activated, revealing a tall, thin alien with reddish skin. I'm Counselor Drell of the Araxians, it said. Please cease your attack. My people voted against the extinction plan. And yet you did nothing to warn us, Carter replied coldly. You stood by while preparations for genocide continued. We were outvoted, Drell said, its tone defensive. The others threatened us with isolation if we interfered. But I can help you now. I have the control codes for the station's systems. Carter's eyes narrowed. Send the codes. If they work, we'll remember the Araxians tried to help. Moments later, the codes came through. Hall verified them quickly. They're authentic, sir. We now have access to the station's security systems. Disable all internal defenses, Carter commanded, and locate the council members. Using the station's systems, they discovered that most council representatives had fled via escape pods or personal ships. However, 5, including High Counselor Zara, were barricaded in a secure chamber near the council chambers. Captain Reeves, adjust your mission, Carter said over the comm. Secure that room and those council members. 20 minutes. Later, Reeves reported back. Admiral, we've got them. 5 council members in custody, including Zara. Bring them to the council chambers, Carter instructed. I'm coming aboard. Carter boarded a shuttle with his security team, heading for the now secured docking bay. Inside the station, the aftermath of battle was evident. Scorched walls, debris, and areas without gravity or breathable air, necessitating their use of spacesuits. The team reached the council chambers, a vast circular room dominated by a round table at its center. Screens displayed live feeds of various worlds. Captain Reeves stood with her team guarding the 5 captured council members. "Admiral on deck," Reeves announced as Carter entered. Carter nodded to her before turning his attention to the captured aliens. "I am Admiral William Carter of Earth," he said. "Your plan to exterminate humanity has failed." Hi. Counselor Zara, her large blue eyes devoid of remorse, spoke first. "You've won a single battle, human. The Council has ruled this galaxy for 2,000 years. When reinforcements arrive, your victory will crumble." Carter's expression remained firm. "Your reinforcements will encounter a far different situation than they expect." He stepped forward, placing his hand on the Council table. "This station now belongs to Earth. From here, we control the communication network linking all Council forces." Zara's confidence faltered. "What are you saying?" "We've already sent orders using your authentication codes," Carter explained. "Orders recalling Council fleets from their attacks on human worlds. Many of your captains believe those orders came from you." One of the other Council members, a reptilian alien, hissed angrily. "You cannot hope to command the Council. You are one species against many." "Perhaps," Carter replied, his voice steady. "But we're a species you should never have betrayed." He turned to Reeves. "Take them to the holding cells. We've got a lot to prepare for before the reinforcements arrive." As the guards moved to escort the Council members, Carter began outlining his next steps. The fight was far from over. The guards escorted the Council members away as Dr. Wells entered the chamber, her expression grim. "Admiral, I've accessed the full database of the Council's experiments on humans. It's worse than we feared." Carter's jaw tightened. "Download everything," he ordered. "When this is over, they'll answer for every atrocity they've committed against humanity." He walked to the large window, gazing out at the ongoing battle. Earth ships now surrounded the station. Like sentinels, their formations tight and protective. Nearby, the shattered remnants of the Council fleet floated aimlessly in the void. "Send a message to Earth," Carter instructed Garcia, who had joined them. "The conquered has fallen. Humanity now controls the center of galactic governance." The first phase of Earth's response to the Council's betrayal was complete. But Carter knew the real challenge was only beginning. 2 hours passed as Earth forces swiftly secured the galactic conquered. Defense positions were established. At every docking bay, and weapon systems were brought under human control. Captain Morgan's team fortified the power core, ensuring it was well protected. Carter stood in what had once been the Council's private meeting chamber. Now it served as his command center. Screens displayed the status of Earth's fleet and the station itself. "Reinforcement fleet detected," Commander Hall announced. "Multiple ships dropping out of FTL." Carter nodded, having anticipated this moment. "How many?" 230 ships, Hall replied, "primarily from the Zaltid and Verax systems." The enemy fleet was smaller than Earth's, but they didn't know that yet. They expected to find a Council fleet in control of the station, not Earth forces waiting for them. "Open a channel," Carter ordered. Once the link was active, he spoke with firm authority. "This is Admiral William Carter of Earth. The Galactic Conquered is now under human control. Your Council leaders are our prisoners. Stand down and prepare to be boarded." A tense silence followed before a voice responded. "This is Fleet Commander Dex of the Zethid Defense Force. We do not recognize your authority. Return control of the station to the Council immediately." "The Council no longer exists," Carter replied coldly. "They forfeited their right to rule when they voted to exterminate humanity." Commander Hall looked up from his console. "Sir, the enemy fleet is forming attack positions." "Activate the station's defense grid," Carter commanded. "Target their command ships first. Launch our fleet." Earthships moved swiftly, forming a protective barrier around the station. The station's weapon systems, now under human control, powered up and locked onto the incoming fleet. Dr. Wells joined Carter at the tactical display. "Admiral, I've found something in the station's database. The Council had contingency plans for situations like this." "What kind of plans?" Carter asked. If the station falls to an enemy, they have hidden weapons in nearby systems, designed to destroy it entirely, Wells explained. Can we locate them? I've identified two, Wells said. I've already sent the coordinates to Captain Reeves. Her ships are en route to neutralize them. The enemy fleet opened fire, launching energy beams and missiles. The battle reignited in a blaze of destruction. Return fire, Carter ordered. Engage according to plan. Earth forces had prepared for this moment. They used the station's formidable weapons and Earth's advanced tactics to outmaneuver the enemy fleet. Coordinated strikes targeted enemy command ships, disabling engines and weapons with precision. Admiral, Garcia called from his station. We're receiving transmissions from several enemy ships. They're asking what happened here. Send them the evidence, Carter replied. Transmit the Council's files. Let them see the betrayal for themselves. As the battle raged, an unexpected event occurred. 3 ships from the enemy fleet broke away, moving to a neutral position instead of attacking. Admiral, Garcia reported, those ships are Araxian. They're offering to stand down and discuss a peaceful resolution. Carter recalled what Wells had said. The Araxians had opposed humanity's extermination. Perhaps allies could be forged among former enemies. Tell them we'll talk, Carter said, his tone resolute. But only after the battle is won. For now, they need to remain neutral, Carter thought as the Araxian ships held their position away from the battle. The fight with the reinforcements was fierce, but shorter than the initial engagement. Earth's fleet had the advantage of preparation, positioning, and control of the station's weapon systems, which proved devastatingly effective. After 30 minutes, half of the enemy ships were disabled or destroyed. The rest broke formation, retreating into faster-than-light jumps. They're pulling back, Hall reported. All remaining vessels have fled. Carter nodded. Let them go. They'll spread the word about what happened here. He turned to Dr. Wells. What's the status of those secret weapons? Both neutralized, Wells said. They were automated missile platforms aimed at the station's power core. For the first time in hours, Carter allowed himself a moment of relief. The immediate danger was over, but the real work had just begun. Open a channel to all Earth. Colonies and ships, he ordered. When the link was established, Carter spoke with measured authority. This is Admiral William Carter. Today, humanity faced extinction at the hands of those we once considered allies. Instead of being destroyed, we took control of the galactic Concord itself. He paused, glancing around the chamber where countless decisions had once been made for the galaxy, many of them to humanity's detriment. The old council is no more. Their betrayal cost them the right to govern. But we will not repeat their mistakes. We will not seek vengeance against entire species for the actions of their leaders. He took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. Humanity now has a choice to become conquerors who rule by fear or to create something better. Today, we begin building a new system of galactic governance, one based on respect, equality, and the right of all species to exist without fear. Those who join us will be welcomed as partners. Those who oppose us will face the full measure of our resolve. As Garcia closed the transmission, General Foster appeared on the main screen. Quite a speech, Bill, Foster said. Earth's government has been meeting non-stop since your first report. They're ready to send diplomats to help establish this new order you're proposing. Carter nodded. We'll need them, and representatives from the colonies, too. What? About the council members you captured? Foster asked. They'll stand trial for their crimes, Carter said firmly. Not for revenge, but for justice. 1 month later, the Galactic Concord had been renamed Unity to signify the beginning of a new era. The battle scars had been repaired, and the Council's insignia replaced with a new emblem, Earth encircled by stars. Admiral Carter stood in the observation room, watching ships from dozens of species dock at the station. Some were Earth vessels, Others belonged to alien races that had chosen to work with the new alliance. Captain Reeves entered the room. "Admiral, the representatives have arrived for the first meeting." "Are all the invited species here?" "Most of them." Reeves. "Confirmed. 32 different races. That's more than the old council ever managed." Together, they walked to the newly redesigned council chamber. The hierarchical platforms that had once symbolized the old council's power structure were gone, replaced by a circular arrangement of equal seats. As they entered, Carter saw the chamber filled with beings of diverse shapes, sizes, and colors. Some were familiar from Earth's dealings with the council. Others came from beyond council space, races that had once avoided contact. The Araxians were present, their tall forms and reddish skin unmistakable. Their defection during the battle had earned them early ally status. The Nomarais and Castellans were also there, having opposed humanity's extermination. Even some former council races had sent delegates, accepting reduced power as they worked. To regain trust, Dr. Wells approached Carter with a data pad. "Admiral, the final reports on the council's human experimentation are ready." "Make sure every delegation gets a copy," Carter said quietly. "They need to understand what the old council was willing to do. The trials of the captured council members had concluded weeks earlier. The evidence against them, taken from their own records, had been irrefutable. High Counselor Zara and 2 others were found guilty of planning genocide and sentenced to life imprisonment on a distant moon. The other 2 received lighter sentences, as evidence showed they had pushed for less extreme measures. General Foster arrived, representing Earth's government. He looked around the chamber, taking in the unprecedented gathering. "Quite a crowd, Bill. Never thought I'd see the day when humans would lead a galactic alliance." "We're not leading it," Carter corrected. "We're founding it. There's a difference." Foster nodded, though his expression showed some skepticism. "Some back on Earth think we should leverage our position for more advantageous terms." "That's the kind of thinking that led the old council to betray us," Carter said firmly. "We won't make their mistakes." A chime echoed through the chamber, signaling the start of the meeting. Carter moved to the central podium. The room fell silent as representatives turned their attention to him. "Delegates of free worlds," Carter began, his voice resonating with conviction. "1 month ago, humanity faced annihilation. Today we stand united, not as conquerors, but as partners in building a future where no species lives in fear." The organization once called the Galactic Council betrayed the trust placed in it. They planned to destroy an entire species, humanity, simply because they feared what we might become. Admiral Carter stood tall at the central podium, his voice steady and resolute. His gaze swept across the chamber, meeting the eyes of representatives from dozens of worlds. Faces of every shape, hue, and expression filled the room, from those who had once held power under the old regime to those who had been its victims. "Their plan failed," Carter continued. "But in its failure, we found an opportunity to build something better. Not a council that rules through fear and inequality, but a union founded on mutual respect and cooperation." He gestured to the data files displayed on monitors around the chamber. These files revealed the truth, the atrocities committed by the old council. They showed the secret experiments conducted on humans, the suppression of technology to keep younger species dependent, and finally, the council's ultimate decision, to commit genocide when all other methods failed. The room was silent as the delegates absorbed the evidence. Many representatives, even those who had been part of the council's inner circle, appeared visibly shaken. Whispers of outrage and disbelief began to ripple through the assembly. "We could have responded with the same kind of fear and cruelty," Carter said. "We could have sought revenge against all council worlds. Instead, we have chosen a different path." The central display activated, revealing the text of a new document, the Charter of the Galactic Union. "This charter establishes a new relationship between our worlds," Carter explained. one where no species can threaten another's existence, where technology and knowledge are shared equally, where disputes are resolved through discussion and compromise, not through force. He outlined its provisions: a rotating leadership to prevent any single species from dominating the others, mechanisms for accountability, and safeguards for the rights of all sentient beings to live without fear of extinction. The old council believed different species could not coexist as equals. Carter continued. They saw the galaxy as a competition, where only the strongest deserved to survive. We reject that view. We believe our greatest strength comes not from domination, but from cooperation. Representatives began discussing the charter, suggesting amendments and posing questions. The chamber buzzed with cautious optimism as delegates worked through the details, laying the foundation for a partnership unprecedented in the galaxy's history. Later, as the day's session ended, Carter stood in the observation room, gazing at the stars beyond the station. The vast expanse of space felt both familiar and new, a symbol of infinite possibility. Dr. Wells joined him, her tone reflective. "Do you think it will work, Admiral? Can species as different as ours truly work together as equals?" Carter's eyes followed a fleet of ships weaving through the stars, a dance of cooperation amidst the void. "I believe we have to try," he said. "The alternative is endless cycles of fear and violence." Wells nodded thoughtfully. "The Council betrayed us because they feared what humanity might become." She paused, then added, "Maybe what we're becoming is something they never imagined, a species that brings real peace to the galaxy." The station had become a beacon of hope. The betrayal meant to destroy humanity had instead ignited a movement to rebuild the galaxy. From the ruins of fear and oppression, something new and better was taking shape. The stars no longer seemed distant or strange. They shone with the promise of unity, a universe redefined by the determination of those who believed in a brighter future. Admiral William Carter, who had led humanity through its darkest hour, now guided the galaxy toward its most hopeful dawn. The journey ahead would be fraught with challenges. Old fears and prejudices would not disappear overnight. But humanity, and the galaxy itself, had taken the first step into a new era.